Hello and welcome to Brain Says Strange Things. I'm Patrick, this is my brother Jordan, and this is the podcast where we talk about horror movies. We've actually talked about a lot of different kinds of movies on this show over the years. We've been doing this for a while now. And for this episode, we really kind of wanted to get back to our kind of trashy horror roots. And we arguably went too far. We decided to watch a couple of sorority-themed horror films for this episode. There's a long tradition of sorority movies in the horror genre. Some quite good films like Black Christmas
and
qualify. And a lot of schlock.
Yeah.
And we definitely watched a couple of the schlockier entries this evening. We watched, for some reason, a film called Blood Sisters, directed by Roberta Findlay. Mm-hmm. And we also watched a movie called Delta Delta Die. Yes. I have the hardest time remembering the title of this movie.
Well, Die Delta Die is pretty good, too.
I think that would be a better title, but the movie was in fact called Delta Delta Die.
It's like that movie Die Monster Die.
Yeah.
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 Probably
but it wasn't.
As good.
It was Delta Delta Die, and it was I don't remember the name of the director, but it was produced by the great Charles Band. So that gives you some idea of the level of quality of films we're dealing with. Let's talk about Blood Sisters first. This was kind of an interesting mix of genres. It was technically a sorority horror film because the girls
sorority sisters,
they were
but
sorority sisters. It didn't really take place on campus. It was a haunted house movie. The girls, so the premise is that these sorority pledges are made to go and stay in a haunted house, which was a former brothel. And
where a scandal happened.
A scandalous event happened sometime in the dim past. And the head of the sorority, along with some guys, set up all these really lame kind of Halloween pranks that the girls would uncover while they're in the supposedly haunted house.
Well, they're doing a scavenger hunt.
Yeah, while they do a scavenger hunt. So the people who set this up don't really believe that the house is haunted, but in fact the house is haunted. And then there's also a very real killer, not a ghost, but in addition to the ghosts, we have someone going around killing off the girls one by one. So it's also a slasher movie. This is a very poorly made film and really weird and not good. What did you
make movie?
What did you make of this movie, Jordan?
It was bad. It just didn't really know what it wanted to be,
or how to be it,
or didn't know what it wanted to be or how to be it. Yes,
there really wasn't
the tagline.
Everything about it was like one of these movies. It's barely a movie. Mm-hmm. It was just like everything about it was bad. Like the sound design was bad. The shots were horrible. Yeah. The acting was horrendous.
It seemed like one of those stories that they make up as they go along. It really did.
Yeah.
Because at the very beginning, when the guys are setting up the pranks, one guy sees a table moving.
Yeah.
Right? And we see the table moving.
Yeah.
So there's nothing like, is it haunted or not? Like, it's haunted.
Yeah.
They show it right away. And they do that a few times, too, where you actually see actual events going on. Like, they're having visions and stuff. And they have, no reaction to it. That one chick who sees... She walks into a room and she sees the dead the dead hookers or whatever they were. And she just...
Yeah, she just had a complete
She blinks and they're
stare.
gone. And they're like, oh, well.
Yeah.
My eyes are playing tricks on me. Yeah, I see horrors all the time. It's just weird. It's like...
I still don't understand why the house was filled with the ghosts of dead prostitutes.
No, or the dead baby of the killer who is alive.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because at one point in the movie they hear a ghostly baby crying. Mm-hmm. And we find out that, or presumably the baby that they hear crying...
Well, it's a whorehouse and the baby lived in the whorehouse.
Yeah, it was a secret, son of one of the whores.
That they
and
kept
then
in
at
there.
the end... I hope nobody actually wants to see this movie, so I'm just going to spoil it. At the end, it's revealed, shocking twist, that the killer is the baby grown up. Right. But
who's one of the girl's boyfriends?
It was one of the girl's boyfriends, and he weirdly has no sideburns.
Yeah,
which is not a plot point. It's just an odd.
It might be.
So,
but yeah, he's still alive, and they're hearing the ghost of the baby, which was him.
Yeah, so there's like a ghost of himself
as a baby. Whatever. That's what I mean, like making it up as they go along. Yeah. They might have started out thinking like, hey, maybe we should make this into a haunted house movie.
Right.
And they're like, oh shit, this ain't working.
Right.
So now we need an actual killer in the movie. So he started killing people.
I think the director had done, like I was kind of scrolling through her IMDb, and she'd done a lot of like, what I'm assuming, schlock, but what I'm assuming is like pseudo pornographic, like a lot of softcore, like, so I don't know that she did a lot of horror. Am I right about that?
No, she did it's like exploitation movies. It wasn't like horror. I mean, probably some of them could fall in the category of horror, but she wasn't known for it. The only other one that I know that they were involved with, her and her husband, because they collaborated
for much of their career.
And they share screen credits sometimes.
But here it's all her.
Here it's her. This is like towards the end of her career, I think.
Yep.
But they worked on that movie Snuff, which you've seen.
Yeah.
And I've heard of, but I've never actually seen Snuff.
Yeah, which is an interesting film.
So that movie probably sums up their career. You know, they're kind of like exploiting.
That's kind of the ultimate exploitation film in a lot of ways. So
I know they were behind that one. That's pretty much.
Well, I mean, I have a kind of fascination and an affection for trash cinema. But
they're cool when they can be well done, but this one was just
there's just no redeeming qualities to it whatsoever. And we also didn't mention the sex scenes in this movie, which are some of the absolute worst looked film. It looked like nobody in this movie wanted to touch each other. Like there's just a lot of like, ooh, like
you see people's hands around people's backs, and they're just like,
like people just did not. I've never seen more awkward.
And then the kissing. They have two women like a lesbian scene, and they're just like
terrible.
That one girl's playing with the other girl's hair. She's like. It's just so bizarre.
Nobody was into it.
No, not even the director. The director wasn't even like, "Hey, come on, get into it a little bit." Just, all right, this is as good as we're gonna get.
Yeah. So I think I guess I would hope that the ones that were more focused on like softcore erotica
would do that part better.
Were more erotic.
Yeah, you think so?
But I guess I feel like for this movie, maybe they're like, okay, we want to do a horror movie, so let's just throw all this stuff that's in horror movies. I mean, this is all stuff you've seen before.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like a lot.
This big blender, and it's just like here it all is.
It seems like that's why it's so disconnected, because it seems like they wanted to have all these little scenes.
Yeah.
Whether or not they
just lifted them from other horror movies, and they're just horribly filmed. And
how did that one girl die in the coffin?
That's a good question.
That was bizarre, because the killer pushes her into a coffin and nails it shut, and then you see blood hitting the ground.
Yeah.
She's presumed dead.
Yeah.
Like, that's representative of the killing in this movie.
I mean, there were some sequences where it was like so badly filmed and written and acted, and the sound was so bad. It was like you were watching an abstract film. And it wasn't meant to be. It was meant to be like clear what was going on. But I was literally at points I was like, I am seeing images and hearing noises, and I have no idea what they're supposed to be representing.
Well, especially when the girls are having like visions, and those vision scenes just make no sense at all.
Bizarre.
And they don't even look cool. So it's like, what is the purpose of this?
Yeah.
Like, it's clearly not working. They do it so many times. And it's so long before someone actually even dies in the movie, too.
Right. It's a really long time.
It's like, how could that even classify as a slasher movie? Like,
so
the deaths are bad. The sound is bad. The editing is
everything
bad.
about it is terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible. I think that's all we have to say about Bloodstone. I can't think of
a single
redeeming quality for this film. You bought it because the great Joe Bob Briggs, great inspiration to us here at Brain Says Strange Things, does the commentary. Does a commentary track on it, which that's probably worth listening to.
Absolutely,
I would imagine.
Yes.
But other than that, I would just listen to the commentary.
The only thing I remember about the commentary is he keeps remarking about how old the pledges look.
They do,
which of course they do.
Yeah, I mean that's a problem in a lot of horror movies. But,
and that's just one of many problems in this one.
All right, so as if that wasn't punishment enough, right after watching,
originally you wanted to do the. Yeah. I always want to say celebrity babes in the slime ball.
We were hoping to pair Blood Sisters with sorority babes in the slime ball Bowl-orama, which I have to believe would have been a step up from the movie that we watched.
Although it did have Brink Stevens.
It did have Brink Stevens, which is another Brink Stevens film from later in her storied career.
Much later.
So that movie was Delta Delta Die.
No, it's Die Delta Die.
Should have been called Die Delta Die.
I thought I could fool you.
And we watched it. And
God, that was the one that we just recently watched, and that one's hard to remember.
It wasn't very good. It seemed to go on for 3 hours, but I think it was about like 80 minutes.
Well, I told you at one point when we were watching it, you could have told me that the movie was on for like 3 hours, and I would have believed you. Like,
this was, it was more of a sorority movie.
mm-hmm.
So the premise of this one, which looks like it was filmed on someone's cell phone, was that there was a sorority of cannibals, basically. These crazy girls who had essentially been running the sorority for years, and killing and eating boys from the campus. Male meat. And the dean of the college was for some reason helping to cover up what was really happening here. There's some kind of a conspiracy going on with the sorority mother, and you find out about their past and how Brink Stevens, who had once been a part of the sorority, connects to it all in a very silly, convoluted backstory.
Are you really trying not to spoil it?
I'm not trying to not spoil it. I'm just trying to. Okay. I just don't want to get into it that much.
Oh, okay.
So it's a sorority that is eating people.
Yeah.
This is the previous film, which was horribly put together, was played straight, right? It was just supposed to be like a horror movie. I was just completely not well done. This was supposed to be definitely like a horror comedy. It's supposed to be kind of like, obviously it's a wacky premise.
There wasn't a lot of comedy in it though, so I don't know if that's exactly
but
accurate.
It did, especially I think when like Brink Stevens came in at the end, it had this kind of like wacky, oh, this is such an outrageous premise kind of tone to it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't meant to be like, it's not like We Are Who We Are or something, or
No.
or it wasn't like a serious look at cannibalism. And when like the house mother was like cutting up the victim in that weird music video montage and throwing the blood around and like mugging at the camera,
she had it in a blender and she was like throwing it up in the air.
What the fuck was going on with this movie?
I like where she had the guy tied up and she started cutting at his back, and then she just pulls a piece of like bologna that was behind him.
Yeah,
like seriously, that was their special.
That
effect.
Was that made Herschel Gordon Lewis look sophisticated by comparison. Is there anything you want to say about this movie? It was I think it was kind of like worse than Blood Sisters in a way.
Are other full moon movies like that?
No. See, I mean, okay, so
that's a bad representation. Because
this is a really bad.
It didn't even seem like a full moon movie.
It technically was not like a full moon movie. So like
technically wasn't a movie.
This was executive produced by Charles Band, but I think this was in that period where like the full moon movies had that deal with Paramount in the 90s, and they released all their Puppet Master Subspecies, all that stuff direct to video. And that was like for a brief period in the 1990s. And then that kind of fell apart. But Charles Band kept producing movies under various labels and in various...
This was like Shadow or Magic Hat or some weird...
So this was... And now he has a version of Full Moon going again. And this was from that weird in-between period.
It was weird.
It was really weird. It did have Brink Stevens in it, who is a genuine scream queen. She was in Sorority Babes, in the Slimeball Bolorama, which we wanted to watch, and Slumber Party Massacre, and many, many, many other films. And she continues to work today. She's still got work coming up, and she's...
Yes. I hope it's better than this, though. This was embarrassing.
This is bad. I think the thing that made this one more difficult to watch than Blood Sisters was that they were trying to kind of be funny about it, too.
I didn't really get distracted by that much, because it really wasn't going for jokes.
Not jokes, but it was supposed to have like a kind of wacky, like this is so outrageous kind of like tone to it. To me, that's more abrasive when it doesn't work, as opposed to like someone just trying to do straight horror and being really bad at it, like Blood Sisters.
Yeah.
Like this was supposed to be like wacky and outrageous, and it's just kind of like sad.
I just had a problem with the way like it was put together.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it just like didn't even look. It looked like it wasn't even a finished movie, and
It's
like you
very
filmed on a
cheap.
cell phone, possibly.
Yeah, well,
like,
let's talk about some of the sets and locations that were used in this film.
Well, it was probably filmed all around somebody's house.
I think this movie was filmed completely in someone's house. My favorite set was the bar that they had set up, which was clearly someone's basement. I mean, it was just, they didn't even really dress it. It was just someone's basement, like trying to pass itself off as an actual bar.
Yeah, and they had like they had lawn chairs in the corner.
was
like,
so bad.
oh, there's a table where you could eat. The table like that big.
Right.
It was like they had a foosball table that looked like a toy.
Ugh. It was like,
and there were like 4 people in there.
I mean, I respect low budget filmmaking and people just wanting to get these movies done, but at some point you got to look at your movie and be like, this isn't working. Like, we have to cut this scene out.
But there's also
completely.
ways to shoot around that too.
Yes.
You could have filmed it in that basement and made it look like a bar without having one perspective and showing the entire thing.
Yeah,
you could see like the back door where people could.
Well, you could see like both walls of the basement, like in one shot, like on either side, and the stairs that went up to where Mom was presumably doing laundry.
And they had like posters hanging on the wall. They were like thumbtacked to the wall. Like, of course you see that in a bar, right?
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
But they had a bar like the counter.
Well, yeah,
so you could just shoot around that. You know, it's like put a little effort into it. That's why I didn't connect with it at all. It was too distractingly bad.
It was really bad. It really was barely a movie. And you know, Brink Stevens, I mean, it's like, I think that's cool. Like, someone just does a career of these shit movies, and it's like, she's just doesn't, like, that's just what she does. And, like, I kind of like that, but, like, I don't know, at the end of this, she's, like, wrestling around with the other girl on the ground. It's not funny.
I was thinking, like, yeah, even if she does enjoy this, like, more power to you, but it's not good for you if you enjoy this. You know, it's like...
it's not good for anyone.
No, it's like, you shouldn't be enjoying this. This is not good.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was not a good film. I think the acting was like slightly above Blood Sisters, but not much.
I don't even know how to compare them.
They were both pretty bad.
There were just like weird line readings all around.
Yeah.
What was that? It was Blood Sisters, where she's like, or no, which one was it?
They kind of blur together.
She's like, the van won't work.
That was Blood Sisters.
That was Blood Sisters.
She said the van won't work.
Yeah. Like, take 127. The van won't work.
Oh, man. Yeah. It was really bad. Yeah, no, there was a lot of that. Weird dialogue, bad acting.
Now I almost said Delta Die.
Delta Die. Yeah.
That one, the dialogue was so bizarre.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, really it was.
Like, even right away it started out, and the girls are talking to the guys, and it's just, no one talks like that, ever.
Yeah. This was a lot to take. These two really bad movies, one after the other. So we watch these so you don't have to. I would definitely skip both of these films. Maybe listen to Joe Bob Briggs' commentary on Blood Sisters.
Yep.
Because he did a bunch of those commentaries on bad movies like this. He does a really good one on I Spit on Your Grave, which I would actually defend as not a terrible movie.
No, I don't think so either. Maybe we'll do that one.
Yeah. We
and the remake.
Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing that. Actually, I have an idea for a remake for a new I Spit on Your Grave.
Yeah, tease.
Yeah, but now we're getting way off topic. So let's. I'm going to try to forget we saw these movies. So we're gonna.
And I've already done that.
We're gonna wrap this up, and we will be back at a later date, talking about movies that really would almost have to be of a higher level of quality.
These are the worst ones that we've done.
This is absolutely the worst movies. I don't know if it's the worst movie I've seen, but these are the worst movies.
Not the worst I've ever seen, but that we've done on this. Yes,
show.
absolutely.
Really bad. So, but
bottom of the barrel.
We found the bottom of the barrel. So,
and we dug underneath it.
and found these movies under the barrel.
Yes.
All right. So that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Brain Says Strange Things. We'll be back talking about more movies real soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.